April 26, 1986. 1:23 a.m. An explosion echoes through the night sky of Pripyat. A nuclear reactor has just blown apart at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. The world's worst nuclear disaster has begun, but while most ran from the danger, a group of men ran toward it. This is not just a story about radiation or politics, it's about sacrifice. About the unknown heroes who fought the invisible enemy, and paid the ultimate price. This is the true story of Chernobyl's forgotten firefighters. It was a routine safety test, or so they thought. Reactor number 4 of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, a flawed design and human error collided in catastrophe. The explosion shattered the 1,000-ton reactor lid and sent a plume of radioactive material into the atmosphere. Flames lit the night sky. Within minutes, firefighters from Pripyat, most of them young men barely out of training, were dispatched to the plant. None were told the truth. They thought it was a simple fire. They had no idea they were walking into radiation levels equivalent to thousands of chest X-rays per second. When the first crews arrived, they were met with a scene of chaos: burning graphite, molten metal, and intense heat radiating from the exposed reactor core. Some climbed onto the roof, directly above the exposed core, unknowingly receiving lethal doses of radiation in seconds. They battled the flames with water hoses, getting burns not from fire, but from ionizing radiation. Eyewitnesses said their faces swelled, their skin turned red, and a metallic taste filled the air. Some began vomiting within the hour. They were irradiated beyond repair. Radiation is invisible, odorless, painless. At first that's what makes it so deadly. By the next morning, dozens of firefighters were hospitalized in Moscow, showing symptoms of acute radiation syndrome. Their organs were shutting down. Skin blistered. Hair fell out. One of them, Vasily Ignatenko, became a tragic symbol of this disaster. His wife, Ludmila, defied medical orders to stay by his side, risking exposure herself. Her account would later appear in the book Voices from Chernobyl, leaving readers around the world stunned. Many of these men died within weeks. Others lingered in hospitals, undergoing multiple skin grafts, transfusions, and failed treatments. They were buried in sealed, zinc-lined coffins, deemed too radioactive to be laid to rest in ordinary soil. Some families weren't allowed to hold funerals. Others weren't even told the full truth, and yet, these men prevented a far worse catastrophe. Had the fire reached the remaining reactors, or the adjacent water tanks exploded, Europe could have become uninhabitable for generations. For decades, their names were barely known. The Soviet Union downplayed the disaster. Their sacrifice was swallowed by silence. It wasn't until years later, through documentaries, books, and the HBO miniseries, that the world began to honor them. Plaques and memorials now stand in Chernobyl and Kiev, listing their names. But it's still not enough. They were the first responders to a crisis no one understood. They weren't trained for nuclear war, but they showed the courage of warriors. In the early hours of April 26, 1986, while the world slept, a group of men woke up to duty. They climbed into trucks, strapped on their helmets, and drove into the unknown. They didn't hesitate. They didn't turn back. They didn't survive. Chernobyl will always be remembered for its tragedy, but it should also be remembered for its heroes, the firefighters of Reactor 4. Thank you for watching. Never forget the ones who ran into the fire when the world needed them most. Sleep well if you can.